Good morning, church. In the Gospel of Mark, we read of Jesus doing all these great miracles. And as he's uh, going around in his early ministry, his first year of ministry, doing these miracles, people have gathered to, crowds have gathered to him. He's doing lots of healing. Bible says the Gospel says he's casting out demons. He's healing the sick. He's got all this great ministry going on. And in the latter part of chapter 3 of Gospel of Mark, he gathers the last group of his disciples. We get a list of all their names. And we read this very interesting verse where he was he'd gone to Capernaum. He's near his hometown of Nazareth. And it says, verse 20, then Jesus entered the house, and again a crowd gathered so that he and his disciples were not even able to eat. When his family, that's his mom and his brothers and sisters, heard about this, they went to take charge of him, for they said, he is out of his mind. King James says he's beside himself. We would have used the term he's gone crazy. He's lost his mind. It's crazy to me to think how his own family is sitting there thinking, our son, our brother's gone crazy. And his family decided to do something about that because they think something's wrong with him. They're not critical of him. I know there's a lot of commentaries that think they're being critical, but I think they're just caring. I think they're a very caring family, and they just want to go take care of him. He's got all these crowds around him. They've not been on his missional work, on these excursions where he goes out and does this great ministry work for his first year. Most of them have not been associated with any of that, and they're concerned for him because crowds are pressing into him, and he continues to work harder and harder and harder for the kingdom of God. The idea is something's wrong with his thinking, when in fact, the one man on the planet that is thinking correctly is Jesus. While everybody else goes about thinking about themselves and their lives and their government and their careers and their futures, Jesus is solely focused on God's work. He came to earth to serve man, to set his mind on helping redeem mankind and accomplishing the will of God. And he has this singular focus about him. Jesus knows that the greatest in the kingdom is a servant. That's the opposite of how we think. Jesus knows that the best way to receive treasures in heaven, is the best treasures. And to receive those, you have to be a gracious and cheerful giver. You don't hoard things to get treasures. You give things away. He knows people matter more than plans. He knows that he's to keep his affections on heaven, not earthly things. He knows loving his enemies is the best plan, but it's not how man thinks. He knows God's always working a greater plan, and that's not often how we think either. So no wonder they thought he was crazy. He was thinking in the ways he's teaching us to think as he walks along planet Earth and gives us all our instructions. He's thinking totally opposite of how mankind thinks. So he, the perfect man, is actually the one who's not beside himself, who's not crazy, who's right. And we need to learn to be a little more crazy like that today. So he's our example. May God help us go crazy today and think like Jesus and do the works like Jesus would do and see the world around us like Jesus did, so we love others like he does. I want us to remind ourselves that when we love others like he does, some people are going to think you're crazy. And that's okay. That's a good crazy. So you guys be blessed. I look forward to seeing you back soon. Thanks for watching.